at your dick a little bit.
A puss.
Can I
A
see
pussy.
the
I mean
The great. They want to see
Kind of
the
dick is
dick.
that?
And who wants to see the dick?
You know, when
We
trying
make
to-
out.
So it just depends on. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Manny with
Rosie.
Rosie the One. So today we're gonna be speaking about
Rosie the what?
the one,
The Riveter?
the one, the only, the
Okay.
extravagant, the beautiful. Should I keep
Okay.
going? Today we're gonna be talking about the secrets of getting laid. And I don't. This probably the title is probably not that great, but it's the only one I can think of. But essentially, I want to ask you several questions from my point of view, and to get your point of view on what should guys out there be looking at when it comes to possibly getting laid, possibly getting that special woman in their lives.
So is it about getting laid or is it about getting the female? Because sounds like two different things.
So I guess we want to get into that. For us, sometimes those two things are the same.
Are they really?
I think I'm having a good authority.
So
I'm not a male representative. I'm not representing the whole male species.
well, I think it sounds like it's two different things. Getting the girl and getting laid.
It
Different.
could be. I could be for depending
So
on
which one you want to talk about?
So amongst my friends and amongst the people males I've interacted with, sometimes those things are the same. So getting the female or getting laid, sometimes it's the same thing. It's the same thing because for us,
So let's lay it out as getting laid with strings
potential.
attached with a relationship.
okay, so getting laid
or
with the
just-
potential to maybe start a relationship.
Okay.
Because I think what starts a relationship is whether or not what happens during that stage and how it evolves for us as males. And I'm obviously going to be speaking a lot from my point of view and my experiences and stuff like that. So, there's no right answer to this, and this could go any type of way depending on what's going on in your life and your experiences. So I guess the first question is, I want to know why it's sometimes so hard to convince, I guess you want to say, to convince that lady friend of yours to like, hey, listen,
Lady friend.
I dig you, you dig me. What appears to be like you dig me, why can't, we go to that next stage of like, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's be friends, but with benefits. Like,
So that's a lot. That's a lot in there because I think, well, for me, I don't know for everybody, but for me, to give it up is there's a lot of consequences to that. We know that if we just give it up just easily, just like that, then what is the guy going to stick around for? Because most times that's all they really want. So it's hard because we don't want to just put ourselves out there to be hurt, to be taken advantage of, to be just left high and dry. And then you've gotten what you want and that's it. When we might want something more and all we get is deuces.
well, I'm trying to think of a way. There's no real way to say this, but is it such a thing that does women have casual sex at any point?
Yeah.
Like,
I would say there's some women who just want that. There's some women who don't care about the feelings and they just want to have sex and that's it.
so have you ever experienced that feeling of having just wanted to have casual sex with a male? Whether it's, and would you looking at male? Does he have to be a friend? Does he have to be someone you know, or does it have to be a complete stranger?
I think for me it'd be more of like a pride thing. So I wouldn't just want to have sex and that's it. Just because,
Even if it was for casual sex.
I mean, it's something about just doing it like that that is like, for me, a pride thing. Some people might be comfortable with it and just be like, all right, let's just do it and that's it. But what if you like it and then you want to see him again, or you want to fuck him again? Then
I mean, I don't think he would mind. I mean,
he wouldn't mind, but then I think the lines start to get blurred. You know, if he can't be around, then you might feel some type of way.
so I really want to know the secrets, because, like, if, not to say that I would ever need these secrets, but I'm sure some listeners out there are wondering, like, if I have a special interest in a lady and I want to approach her, regardless of what the ultimate goal is, whether it's to...
But it's different and it matters, because when you approach her, you're not approaching her on some, I want to get to know her. Or that might be the case. That might be one case. But then you could be approaching her on you just want to fuck. And for that reason, I think a lot of women might be a little deterred.
Do you think that at any given point, a woman's always feeling like he wants to fuck me?
Yes. Always. Because it doesn't seem like any guy just trying to get to know some girl. Or maybe eventually it'll be that. But initially, no. Because you see her, you just see her.
So you feel like anytime a guy speaks to you, no matter what circumstances,
yes,
his goal is to fuck you.
Yes.
So I have to say that's incorrect. Now, I will say it's incorrect, but also say it's not that he doesn't want to fuck you. It just means that his intention might not be to fuck you unless you offer it to him. Now, accepting pussy is not the same as chasing it. It's completely different. Now, as a male, I can easily have a conversation with another female and not think about, oh, I want to fuck her. That's simple. Now,
you said
in the back of my mind,
not like that's your friend.
No.
You said if he wants to talk to you.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
Does that mean
in general
he want to fuck? And I
like,
would say yes.
Okay, I'm just saying in general, a guy will always think in the back of his mind like, I'd fuck her. So that's always in the back of our minds. That's always there. We always check her out. We always check the person out. Be like, I'd fuck her. But that's it. That's as far as it goes. Now, if we feel that the conversation or the flow or something along the line of like, okay, there may actually be some potential. Like, I may
potential
actually...
for what?
To fuck. It may be there may be a possibility. Maybe I can, and that'll be my choice at that moment to kind of like, should I pursue this? Should I, invite her out to dinner?
So when you initially talk to her, even though it's in the back of your head,
the intention might not be automatic to try to fuck you. No, because let's say, for example, we at work.
Well, we're not talking about work.
Well, let's just say, for example, you just drop something on the floor, and I'm just like, hey, miss, here you go. You dropped this on the floor. Like, our intention, we're not doing that just so we can get a word out of you so we can fuck you. No. But I guarantee you that man, once he gives you that item, looks at you in the eye, looks at your shoes, looks at your pants, he's thinking the back of his mind like, I would fuck her. If given the opportunity, I would fuck her. I would lay down with this woman. I would spend the night with her.
I don't even think they go that far. It don't even have to be like, I look at you and examine you and all that. I don't even think so.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
men will hump anything.
I take that,
anything.
I take that a little bit,
I mean,
not everything. We won't mess with everything. Depends on the standard of that male.
Anything.
Every male has a different standard.
As they just try to say, it's just about the, getting that release and that's it,
No, I mean
they would
already going back and forth. For there's levels to it. Like, I think 6 months. I know in our earlier episode we talked about something along the line of waiting 6 months. I think 6 months is a fair amount of time. Of like, if nothing has happened within the 6 months, that's kind of where you want to start asking questions of like, what's going on? Like, would you think that's fair?
Nothing happened in terms of sex?
Yeah, so nothing has happened. We still don't consider ourselves boyfriend, girlfriend. We kind of been on like several dates. We made out. We text every now and then. Maybe a nude has been flying around. Maybe, I don't know. Like a side boob. I don't know, whatever. Netflix and chill. No, hey, look, it's 2:00 in the morning. You want to come over? Nothing. Like, what should I do in that situation? Like, what should I, as a male, do in that situation to either like figure out what's going on or?
Well, what have you already done?
I mean, I've done the whole dating thing, flowers thing. Took her out to eat. Expressed to her that look, I'm really digging you.
I mean,
send her the nice emojis.
It goes several ways, right? It depends on who. It depends on what kind of vibes you're giving her, because 6 months in, she could either be holding out because she wants to really make it a relationship and hold out the most that she can before fucking you, just to really see, like, make you wait and make you appreciate it more. And maybe with her, get some kind of value from it, to say like, okay, well, we've waited this long, he's waited this long, so it must be more than just he's just trying to get some. And then the other part might be she's not really into you, and whatever you're doing so far for the 6 months may be awesome, and the attention is great, but probably there's no real not need, but there's no real urge to do it.
So, obviously this scenario can be like a million different scenarios in one, and there's no way we can cover them all. But in a general sense of things, how much time you feel, and this is going to be I guess it's going to be based on your opinion, obviously, but how much time you think is too much time for, like, if I'm a guy who's kind of like been trying to engage a woman for X amount of time, how much time should I think about, like, hey, listen, it's been this amount of time, maybe I should think about moving on and maybe trying something else, or, like, in your opinion as a female, and, obviously I'm not trying to include, people out there who like try to save themselves a marriage, or, have some kind of value or belief that, it's no sex involved. I'm talking about just the average Joe or Jodette, that, that it's just, because, in this scenario, she sent me nudes, like, she's already expressed how she wants to do it. So all this, like, back and forth chat, but nothing has happened. It seems like it's always some kind of, like, excuse or, like.
But I think what one of the points you raised in the last one of the last episodes we had with the scenario situation is that you could ask yourself that question. Probably want to look at yourself and see, well, how long you're willing to stay around before she might come up and say, or before she says it's okay.
Yeah, but I would imagine, like, the moment I stop texting her or I stop hitting her up, she might start catching feelings. And I really dig this girl.
Absolutely.
I really dig this girl.
If you really dig her, does it matter?
I mean, Yeah, it does because it's. I think it's a give and take relationship, right? You know,
Why? But why is that the take or the give? Like, it always seems like
because
that's
all
the
right,
ultimate, or that's
for me, that's what I want.
the one icing on the cake. But why?
But that's what I want.
But you say you dig her, so you only dig her for that reason, or because if you dig her, it doesn't matter when she gives it or if or when she ever does. Ultimately, obviously, you might want that, yes, because it feels good. But if you dig her, then why is this the focus on when is a time or putting a time on it? Like, I don't feel like that's necessary. I'm not saying you have to wait your eternity, but
I have to say that it is necessary. It
that
is
sounded
necessary.
mad weird. Okay, no.
It is necessary, and I tell you, so it is necessary for males, and I'll tell you why. And this could be completely wrong, but at least from an early lad, I remember feeling this. Like, if for us males, it feels like it's like an explosion going off inside of our bodies, and there's this constant pressure bubbling up to the surface. So, I mean, for some of you guys out there, it's like having a really bad gas, and like it bubbles, and it's not coming out. It's like you don't know if it's gonna come from the top or the bottom, and you're just like, and it's that gas bubble. Like, oh my god, I just want to turn. I just want to go to sleep. But for us, it starts to block our just how brain functions. Like, the more time that
Like a you issue.
No, I think this. I mean, I've had at first I thought it was just me, right? But then I've had this conversation with the males. I'm like, yo, like, do you experience this? He's like, yeah, I experience this shit too. Like, and it's a consensus amongst all the males I've talked to. Now, again, not everyone is created equal, so maybe I just met the few fucked up males in this world, possibly. But it's a common feature that every male that I've talked to, that once this pressure gets to a certain extent, it's like a bull. All we see is red. And it gets worse and worse and worse to the point where we just become like creatures of the dark, that all we want is that. And it gets progressively worse. So when we really dig a girl, and we've been waiting 6 months. So there's been 6 months of pressure that we've been kind of building up and trying to hopefully, release. Now, let's assume that male is now like chasing other females on the side. Not. He's solely focused.
How likely is that?
After 6 months, I'll be honest with you, there's 20% chance that he is solely chasing that one girl.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You said he's not chasing them.
So no.
How
What I'm saying
is it that he's not?
At 6 months, there's maybe a 20 or 25% chance that he is only chasing that girl. So that means a 75% chance that he's probably considering it, or actually chasing another one as like a backup plan. Because at the end of the day, we got to get this done. We got to get this done out of our body. If we don't get it out of our body, it can literally consume us. It's like a ticking time bomb for us. And oftentimes, that's why a lot of that whole connotation of like guys masturbating comes from, because we have to release that pressure. And it's easy for a lot of women to say, like, turn around and say, oh, you guys are just, you hump anything. You guys are just horrible. All you care about is pussy. La da da da. On and on and on.
Sounds about right.
But we have this thing inside of us that's pushing us to this moment. That doesn't mean it's an excuse to be a jackass and an asshole. No, get me wrong. There's ways to get this done, still be a gentleman and still not be rude. But unfortunately, it drives us to make really bad decisions oftentimes. And a lot of women, a lot of people get injured in the process. Injured. I mean,
Where'd you go, karate chopper?
I mean, listen, what do you think rape comes from?
What?
Rape.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, and that's what I mean by injured. Some people just, stuff like that happens. And
you got a real problem if you're hanging around for 6 months and then she's not giving it up and then you want to resort to
No,
rape.
I don't think it ever happens. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think it ever happens that way.
It probably does because people are just
right. But unfortunately,
unfortunately,
a lot of there's some people out there that do get injured because of this, and I'm not saying that the sole reason is because of this fictional thing that just made up, because no one knows the right answer for this. But this, that need of sexual pleasure sometimes injures certain people, both males and females alike. So that being said, though, the question I want to ask now is, and I really shouldn't be asking this because I don't think most males cares about this, but I'm just curious as to myself, like, how much time is too little time? Like, what time should I be suspicious of, like, you just want to fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like, as a male, like, when should I be suspicious?
I don't know how many times you're going to get somebody who you're going to be asking a question, you just want to fuck, and that's it? No strings attached? Really?
So, because
I mean, not to say that it wouldn't happen. I'm sure it does. Because sometimes you just want to get fucked. You're not looking for all that extra stuff. And most likely you wouldn't be, like, the main focus. You'd just be something second to something else.
The few times that it happened in my life, I've been completely terrified.
What?
The few times that has happened in my life.
What has happened?
A female has, like, openly just said, you want to fuck?
What?
Yeah. It happens twice.
Is this a made up scenario?
No, it's not made up. No, it's not a made up stuff. One time it was a group of women.
Oh, Lord.
That pulled up in, I think it was a Honda or something. I don't know. This happened years ago, back when I was in early college days. And they pretty much invited me over to their place. They were like, you want to come through? And there was a few.
Well, what made you think it was for fucking?
There were about 4 females in a Honda.
Again, what made you think it was
maybe
for
not.
fucking?
Maybe it wasn't the fuck. But, I mean, the look on their eyes, the energy, they were scantily clothes. I mean, and I'm not, these females were cougars. Let me again put that into context. These are not just like regular females my age. No, these are females who were obese twice my age.
Did you say they were obese and twice your age?
No, not obese. I said twice my age. And like cougars, so, as a young man, you got to be like, wait, what's going on in here? Why do you want me to come to you? It was like, oh, come on, let's go have a nice time. We're going over to our house. And it was that whole, and I was completely terrified. I was like, no, I'm good.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that they wanted to do it.
The driver looked at me in a certain way.
If it's a situation where you're saying like you were not even proposition, but they just came out and said, yo, you just want to fuck, and then that's it.
And then, okay, so I had another girl in college who like came up to me and was like, she knew me for several classes, and one day we was having a nice conversation, and she turns around, she kind of leans over to me, she's like, hey, listen, you want to come over to my place and fuck? And I kind of had to stand back. I was like, what did you ask me? She was like, you want to fuck? Like, what's the big deal? And I'm just like, you can't just like.
I mean, I don't know how many times that happens.
Literally twice. And I think that's never happened again.
I don't think it's like an outlier, but I don't know if it happens that often. But you do have some people who don't, they're not looking for any commitment. They're not looking for none of that. Because most likely in that situation, that is second to whatever else. Whether their main relationship or their job, career, whatever. It's second to that. So, but again, you do have the people who are just like, let's get it on, and that's it. I don't know.
So for me, the reason I on both times I said no is because I initially just thought, does this woman got something? Like, why is she so willing to just give it up so quick? Like, I literally went to the darkest part of my brain and I started thinking really bad scenarios of like, is this girl trying to rob me? Is she trying to like, what's going on here? Because this is just like red flags everywhere. So it's like, I'm asking you as a female, if should I be worried or concerned if someone a female just wants to casually just have sex with me? Should I be a little suspicious? Should I be like, should I consult?
I would just say as a person, because most times I think
I can't say a person because I don't.
No, I want to say for a person because I think if anybody was to come up to you,
91,
you would just be suspicious. Period. If they come and they just proposition or they put something out there, or whether it's a get rich quick
if a big
scheme,
dude comes up
whatever the case may be, it's just for me, I'm always looking at stuff squinty eyed because that's just me. But
it's like when you see free on a label.
When you what?
When you see free on a label, it's like free.
Yeah, 'cause nothing is free. So, and this is what kills me too with guys is that, you'll go holler at a chick because she looks great on the outside.
Hey girl, how you doing?
And, you'll be willing
I see that plastic butt.
Okay. You'll be willing to stick your dick in anything without really taking the time to know the person or whatever, just because they look good on the outside. But you don't even know what the hell you're getting yourself into.
Well, I mean, again, going back to what I was saying.
And so
that desire leads us
to answer that question of, should I be worried? Yeah, you should be worried if somebody comes up to you, anybody.
So, but how much
comes
time?
Up
how
to
much time
you
we talking here?
And say, you want to do something strange for a little piece of change.
But how much time we talking about? A week, 2 weeks?
That
like, how much time should I get to know her before I can, like, go in? I need your professional advice here, as a female. In case I'm out there.
I mean, you could still get burned being out there and thinking you know somebody.
I mean, yeah, you gotta roll that dice, but I'm trying to win. All right, I'm trying to win this game of craps. How do I win?
Give it a couple of months to figure out what the hell.
Months?
Yes, months. Maybe 2 to 3. That's not a long time.
2 to 3
to get to know somebody, and that's even like. Let me sip some tea side eye.
I was thinking more like a week or two.
Like, a week or two? You're not gonna know anybody in a
like
week.
Like 2 dates.
So you go on 2 dates a week or two?
Yeah, why not? Like every week you go on a date.
No. You need time to know that person. I mean, you don't know what kind of skeletons they got in their backyard. Not closet, backyard.
I mean, we live in New York. Not
backyard. You don't even know what the hell's going on.
If you got a backyard.
You want to know if this person got kids, if this person got a crazy.
I think by the second day you can find out they got kids.
No, you may not, because a lot of times, because you know that kids may be a determining factor in whether the guy stays or goes or whatever, you might not want to mention that right away. They might not. And some people are very reserved about that. Like, they don't want to bring that to the picture and talk about their kids yet, because you don't want to introduce them until you know what that person is about. So second date is not enough time to know somebody and want to stick your dick in somebody. But that's what I'm saying. Like, guys were willing to stick their thing in anything.
Some guys.
Most guys.
Because I can't speak for myself. I got to speak for myself. I don't stick my dick in anything. I just one thing. I stick my dick in one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on. So from what I'm hearing, it sounds like for ladies, once you cross that threshold of sex, it kind of starts leading to the perception that you may be considered, and this may be appropriate or nothing, but like a slut or a hoe, or depending on what part of
but it's
the country you're from.
It's like if you give it up too fast, then you're a hoe. If on the first date. And again, if your thing is you just want to get fucked, nobody got to put a time on anything. No one has to put a label, time, whatever. Do you. Do whatever makes you comfortable. What other people might say is that, oh, wow, she's a slut. That's what the guy might say. He might not even call her back after that first time because he already got it. What does he have to work for?
So something that I know some ladies do that sometimes men feel really affected by it is, so we turn around and say, oh, she's a hoe, she's a slut. And the number one comeback that all females have.
Yo, Jack is lit.
Exactly. Yo, dick is small. And that crushes us.
Well, how did she know that if y'all in... Oh, after the first...
Yeah. So if we so happen to say to our homies...
again, it's two things. Either it is...
small. It doesn't matter.
It is small.
The mere fact that you're saying it, it's like... How dare she say that?
But during the time... Because it's just the only way to get.
And she had an
orgasm. The
orgasm.
only way to get at you. Because when they tell the story to their friends, they leave that part out. They'll paint the picture like it was the most perfect experience I've ever had.
Right, we won't badmouth you. Right. We're not gonna badmouth your body.
But
like,
then the next time when it doesn't go right, it's his dick was small.
Here's what we will say to. Here's what we will say to a group of fellas. Right, we'll pretty much lie about the whole thing. Like, let's say
exaggerate.
Exactly. Well, no, we'll exaggerate to the end of the world just to make a point. Like, we'll just start saying like, "Yo, she had the fattest ass, bro. Her punani was so wet." It just drained everywhere. The whole sheets got wet. We had to mop up the floor, bro. And when I beat it, bro, I tell you, bro. When I beat it, bro, her eyes rolled in the back of her head. I couldn't see her pupils anymore. She was doing Undertaker on me, bro. Like, and we'll keep going. And we'll just keep like, so we'll never say nothing like, we'll no one turn around like, yo, her titty was all weird, lopsided. One butt cheek was no. We won't say that because we're happy. We're happy at that moment. So the problem, I guess the problem that comes in is the fact that as we tell the story to other fellas may think like, damn, he got that in a month? Oh, maybe I could try. Because he's making it sound so great. And then once that cycle repeats a few times, and that story comes across a few times, then some fellas may get the idea, well, I've heard this story before. Wait, how many times have I heard this story? 4 times. Whoa, hold up. Shorty's going around too many times. Like, what's going on? Has she been shared by all the homies? So I guess that's like the origin of that whole like, oh, she a hoe, oh, she a slut.
But if you got it on the first day, what would you think about the girl?
On the first day?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you would have asked me that question in the 90s, I would have said she a hoe.
90s?
In the 90s.
When you was what, 2?
I don't know. I mean, in I don't know, in the early 2000s, I guess, whatever. Whenever I was a teenager.
10?
Okay, listen. You're going to have to stop age shaming me.
Guess your age. No, but... Okay, let's say.
But now 2019, so let's say
it's
not that serious.
Well,
now.
I guess not because people just go on dates to hook up and just fuck. And that's
app's
it.
Forever.
That's the whole purpose,
right?
So, but what would you think about that person?
See, that's saying I'm an '80s baby, so it's like I'm
but what would you think about that person? So, not shaming anybody who uses Tinder or them apps or whatever and all that.
I mean, I'll get myself checked out real quick. I ain't gonna front.
Wait, what?
I'll just go get myself checked out. Go to the doctor, do blood work. You know what I mean? Just in case.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know if anybody thinks about that. That's all I think about. It's like, you get all hot and bothered and it's... Ooh. But then, afterwards, you start itching.
You come after 2 minutes. Your expectations is always so high. And the performance always lacks that.
No, I'm talking about if
it start itching. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. and you go from
I mean, you got
to
that's the risk you got to take, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not with them risks because the crap that comes with it afterwards is like.
I think most things can be avoided though if you use just regular protection. If you just actually look at what you're about to touch,
Who will be looking?
Turn
but
on
that
the
don't
light.
mean nothing.
turn on the
'Cause
light.
what if that person don't have any physical evidence, but they have
True,
it?
but I mean, it's
underlying.
It's a little, smell it. Make sure it's not like a
Smell
foul
it.
odor,
Lord.
kind of like dated meat. Like when it smells fresh. Chances are, if she has, he or she has foul odor, it might be some kind of infection going on.
Can you imagine?
It's a weird
You all
bumps.
worked up, pent up, everything. You're making out, kissing, dick is bulging.
You gotta,
and then you
It's
go
a
there and you're
finesse.
like,
you gotta finesse it.
and you smell it and you're
I
like,
smell death.
ooh. What do you do?
You gotta be honest, man. You gotta get up like, hey, listen.
Be like,
Listen.
yo, you smell.
You gotta make a decision in your head. As a guy, you gotta make a decision in your head.
be
You
like,
gotta
yo,
bite
you
that bullet.
Smell it.
You gotta bite the bullet,
Then
right?
you won't come out with your dick dripping with.
Hey, listen, you gotta bite that bullet. How long has it been? You've been 2 years. You may have to bite that bullet. Put that rubber on and be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna roll that dice.
Yeah, see, and that's why y'all get. That's why y'all get.
But it
caught out
depends on the
there,
fella.
because-
It depends on the fella, though. It just depends on the fella. Like, if he's willing to take that risk, then hey, you gotta put it on the line. Like, let's do this. Come on, I'm all in. But it's ways to avoid it. I mean, turn on the light. Make sure you look. Listen, if you're about to have sex with a person and they do not want you to turn on that light, I'm just That's a warning sign. That is a warning sign. Why do they not want you to turn on that light?
Because maybe they have.
what are they
body,
hiding?
Issues, and they don't want to show themselves.
Do they have an extra limb? Like,
Maybe they're insecure about.
maybe
their
they have a
body.
tail.
Maybe they're insecure about their body, and they prefer not to.
See, my advice is just be like, hey,
Show.
listen, I want to, not only do I want to feel your body, I want to bask in the beauty of your body. I want to be able to see it. I want to see the nice glisten when you sweat. I want to see your body tremble as we make passionate love. That's how you gotta say it.
Tremble.
You gotta say that stuff. You gotta say that stuff because
You don't have
chances
to
are they might be hiding because they have a big lesion somewhere, or turns out they got bumps all over their equipment.
They have this thing that perlas.
Perlas?
Perlas.
Perlas. Perlas.
Perlas.
Perlas. Perla.
Perlas.
My Spanish is pretty bad right now.
It's not like I have it. But anyway.
Perla.
It's like these little pearl-looking balls that get surgically inserted into the penis.
Shaft, yeah.
Yeah, and it's supposed to make it feel good when you're doing it.
They have something called a bombita too.
And if you look at it, it looks like something's wrong with your dick. So,
I mean, but that's a valid question. If you're touching it and looking at it, you like there's a big marble sticking out the side of your dick. What's going on? Now, if there's a pattern, like every 2 inches there's one, maybe okay, maybe that's something, plastic surgery type of thing. But if there's just one sticking from the side, you may want to roll that dice. Like, yo, what's going on? Are we gonna have a conversation about this, or are we gonna just pretend that it's not there and put a rubber on it? I'm just saying, you gotta roll that dice. Like, what's going on? Are we gonna talk about this or not?
nah,
but-
you're not rolling no dice.
So-
you're just not going there. It's not gonna happen because, it's just not.
So I want to ask you, what are you as a woman expecting of us once you give us your pleasure tank or whatever, your pleasure box?
Oh Lord.
Like, what do you want from us? Because I think that's a large part of like the problem. I think that we don't fulfill that role, or we kind of fall back because we got it. So we fall back
Right.
like, shit, I'm good.
Yeah, you don't have to work anymore. I think that the expectation would be for you not to fall back and just be like, oh yeah, I got it. Even if it's that you're only sticking around for the goodies.
So I'm assuming I'm not sticking around. So I ask you two
But
questions.
this is what
So
we might want to see. You ask what we want to see. I'm
yeah,
telling
if
you what
we
wanna
want to
see.
stick around.
So you want to see him still being interested. Whether
In
it's
what
a
way?
little bit of conversation, a little bit of the same text you was texting, all that nasty shit, and all that, hey girl, you're so beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. How you doing this morning? Have a great day. And you know, I just want to say you look lovely in that dress the last time I seen you. And all that sweet nothings and all that. Continue that shit. That shouldn't go out the window just because you got some. Bring that back. Bring that ass here. Bring that back into it. Okay? Because that's all the nice stuff you want to continue to hear. Continue to chase me like you were chasing me for it to begin with. Not just because now you got it. It's like, yeah, okay. Goal achieved. I need a new service plan now. No.
Service plan?
Yeah. A new treatment plan. No. Do the same things you were doing to get it in the first place. Maybe you don't have to work as hard, but you can still do some of those things to make me feel like, well, you're still into me. You weren't only into me for pussy, and you want me. That's what we want to see.
And what do you expect to see when, I guess, a guy's not interested in you? Like, how would you want to be let down? Like, how would you want to? Like,
I mean, that's a hard question because who wants to be let down?
well, just give me an
Who
answer.
wants to be told, yeah, and this is after sex?
Not right after sex. Like as soon as I come in your face or whatever, I'm like, you know what? This is not gonna work out no more. As soon as you give the
pearl necklace, you're like, yeah. Right as you're giving it, yeah, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
I think sooner than later, because
how would you want it? As a text, email, Instagram picture with a selfie like deuces?
Either way, it's always gonna be hurtful. It's gonna hurt. So I guess the less, you know.
Like, should we stick around? Like, text you every now and then? Like, if you want to do
what
it
would
more
be
often?
The point? Like,
if you want to do it more than once.
What?
Fuck. I'm just saying,
so
like,
when you
we friends, stick around, be friends with benefits kind of thing. Like, we just like.
So
hey,
maybe you should say that before.
So before what? Before we fuck? Before we talk? Before we meet each other?
Before you decide to go? Because again, you got to remember that even though a female may say, I don't want anything attached to this, soon as you're not available, feelings are going to get caught. Like, you could go around and say, oh, we're some grown ass folks. You do you, I do me. But as soon as you're not living up to that expectation that person had of you, they're going to catch feelings. So as soon as he says, like, yeah, I'm not available to do this, after you guys plan and
stop stressing me out.
And you guys plan and you decide you're going to do it. And then he turns around and says, yeah, no, I can't make it. That's going to piss you off, even though you've already determined that, well, we're two consenting adults and we decided that you got your thing, I have mine. So, it's all good. But as soon as you let that person down, they're going to get mad.
So how?
They're going to catch and that's what I call catching feelings. How? Even though you're saying,
how?
We're just friends with benefits.
How? How much do you value honesty in that initial interaction of like, hey, I'm a guy, I have a penis, I think you have a pleasure box, like, I would like to get to know you. But how much as a female do you value honesty of like what my intentions are? Like, hey, listen, I just want to fuck. I just potentially want a friend with benefits, or I want to really start a relationship with you. Like,
I think if you hear it, it sounds raw and real, but I don't see why you can't appreciate that raw and real. Because if you tell me what it is that you want, right off the bat. Anything that happens afterwards, I can't feel bad because I already knew what it was. You said what you wanted and I did it anyway. So I knew what I was getting into. But when you start with all these uncertainties and you start with all the smoke and mirrors, you don't know. So you're playing the game along too. But if you say to me, I just want to be friends with benefits, and I process that and I go ahead and I still fuck with you and then I still catch feelings, that's on me.
So you think between a man, well, between two people, you think that there could be such a thing? I know you just kind of said that a little bit, but to have casual sex without having strings attached. Because that's always like a common thing. Like, oh, I don't want no strings attached. I just want to.
I feel like it could start off like that, and you want it to be like that, but I just don't see how it can always be that way.
Because I think
I think people can try to train their minds to do that.
Some guys think that they can, and oftentimes some guys fall into it.
I think guys have an easier time doing it than females.
But there's some guys out there that always feel like, oh yeah, I can do this without it,
Right.
and then
But
you often start
feeling
feeling, you get a little jealous because then you see her in a club with some other dude, and it's just like, oh, but that's
Yeah.
my girl.
And that's feelings. And then you'll try to turn it off and be like, oh, well, I can't really get mad because she's not really my girl. She's somebody else's. But I don't see how, like I said, initially it might start out that way. And you might have every intention to keep it that way. Or he might not be the only dude. It might be a couple of them. So if it, it might be easy. But I do think that at a certain point, you start to, whether it is, and catching feelings don't mean like you start to like them, but just being jealous, just being mad at when they don't come up when you want them to, just having some kind of attitude about them because they're not available for you or you're at your beck and call.
How do you define strings between two people? Like, what kind of things do you consider strings? And I'll give you an example. For us, strings is like kind of what you mentioned before, of like us having to hit you up in the morning every day, like, hey, how you doing, what's up, or having us have to like check in with you every.
Well, the strings are the tit for tat and the feelings that come with whatever the arrangement is. It's about if you guys set a time and you don't stick to that time and then you get mad. So next time, you have a few words to let the person know how you felt that time. That's the strings. Or expecting certain things to come with, well, I'm giving you this, so I expect you to want to stay around and cuddle, want to bring me gifts when you come over, pick me up. When I call, you answer. Things like that. Those are the strings, which I don't see how people could define a relationship. And when I say relationship, I don't mean like, boyfriend and girlfriend. I just mean whatever you have going on with that other person, how you could define a relationship with no strings attached. Because there's always going to be some
I think a relationship
attachment.
Could be any kind of
There's always going to be some attachment of.
Even if that attachment itself is sex.
Exactly. Even if it's just you guys are
Sometimes he just
platonic.
got that.
It's just, I don't see how.
That person got that magic touch.
I don't see how it can just be that. And again, people might pride themselves and try to say, oh, I could ensure. But can you really? You mean to tell me at no point ever you ever sat down and got mad off of something that involved that person when you couldn't get your way or you couldn't get them to answer you when you wanted them?
So what can we take away from this? And I'm gonna say certain things that I think stood out what you said, and you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong, which I'll probably be wrong. But honesty is one thing, right? Two is there's no hope. Just gotta keep waiting. Just keep waiting, and hopefully you get lucky. And I think that's the two things. So just being honest and just
definitely just state what the hell it is you want to do. Like, let's stop all the games.
So if after 6
You
months,
know what
if after
it
6
is
months I'm
you
like, yo,
want.
shorty, like, what's up? What's good?
And you should definitely be honest with her and let her know what's up. And then if she turns around and be like, what's up with what?
What you talking about? What
That
you
would be
talking
the
about?
response. What's up with what? And you let her know, I want to fuck you.
Like, you not attracted to me? Like, I thought we was
Like,
feeling each other.
I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that, and I just want to get my dick wet.
And she turns around and says, no. You're like, you know what?
Be like, well, honestly,
I like you, but, if you're not ready for that, cool.
Right.
I'm going to keep it pushing.
And I'm not going to stay around. Maybe I hit you up every now and then, but, I'm not going to stay around for this. But let it be known. Let's stop the games that we play. It's 2019. We don't need to be playing the games. We don't need to be playing games to, to say what it is that we want. It's just not necessary. So just be honest.
Honestly? Okay.
Just be honest. And
oh, what was the other one?
Yeah.
I forgot. Oh, just wait. Just wait.
But now just wait. But just, I guess when it's you and the other person, you guys come together and decide, the speed and how fast you want to take things.
Those things are never talked amongst. Like, it's different.
But
between
that's what we need to do. Talk.
For
But
a
you
couple
know
who's
what,
been together
too?
for a long time, then that's easier. Like, oh, maybe we should talk about,
But
can I do something nasty?
We should try to get to a point where we can just be open and talk about our feelings.
But you
and what it
technically,
is
that
we
person is
want.
technically just a stranger. How can you open yourself up to that person? I'm like, hey, listen,
And there is some uncertainty with that, just because of the fact that you don't want to scare them off, because you might be honest, and then they'll be like, yeah, I wasn't really looking for that, and then walk away.
there goes that chance.
But again, at least you didn't have to wait 2 years down the line to find out that he was
That's
just
the
gonna
worst.
dip anyway. So it's better he dip now, even though it either way it's gonna bite and hurt.
I think personally for me, like 3 months, like if you're not having a conversation at 3 months of like, hey, listen, where this is going, like regardless of what your plans are, as far as where your plans is to stay, go, fuck, just whatever the plans are. If 3 months you're not having that conversation, I think you need to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, listen, this is working out.
But the crazy thing is too, with that and just trying to have the conversation, people get scared with that and feel like, well, I don't want to really have.
But that's what I'm saying. 3 months for me is a good time because you're not invested that much.
Mm-hmm.
But you're invested a little bit, so you have some kind of interest in it, but not to the point where it's like you can't cut your losses and be like, hey, listen, I'm just going to.
And then some people are cool with just playing it by ear. And as you go and see however it goes.
Before you
It's
realize
like,
that 3 years
we
pass by.
too old for all of that. Let's have a conversation.
Well, we're old, but not some people.
I'm just saying, but even whatever age, whatever, let's just kind of talk about where we're at. We don't have to say, oh, we're gonna get married in 2 years or 5 years, but let's just have a serious conversation about. Even if it is playing it by ear, then say that.
Okay, I think that's fair enough. I think we covered most of my questions. I thank you for your insight. I think hopefully this may help some of the fellas out there who are in some kind of issues. And
Probably not. They're just going to try
and
to
I'll definitely write some of this stuff down just in case, you kick me to the curb.
Put it in.
I mean, that's the goal. That's the goal. But thank you
Stop
everyone for
putting it in.
listening to the podcast. Tune in next time for our next episode.
And stop putting it in. Just put it in. Ease it in. Be
Get some
gentle.
lube, you know what I mean? Make sure she's wet.
Be
Do some
soft.
foreplay.
Don't
Don't
just put
afraid
it
to eat
in.
the box. That box is great. But thank you for listening. Have a good one.
And keep it in your pants. Okay?
Okay, just let's go.
Bye.